Everyone, welcome back to the Spector Creative channel. I'm your host, Scott, Toy Guru Neitlich. So glad to have you here. Such a positive, wonderful day for us to be connecting. And like always, well, not always, but we're talking toys today and talking toy branding. Specifically, the Black Series, right? You're familiar with the Black Series, the makers of, like, these guys and these guys, et cetera, et cetera. I must have some more Black Series. Here's Mando. All right. They're all Black Series, right? They're bigger than our traditional Star Wars scale. Started in 2012-ish. No, more like 14, I think. That's what I want to talk about. So when Black Series was not a scale, but rather a year-long branding campaign. Yeah, couldn't have been more confusing. So let's jump in. So back in 2014, Hasbro's developing new scales for Star Wars just to kind of see what might work, and they try out 6-inch. Now, coincidentally, and having nothing to do with the Black Series branding, that's the same year that Hasbro decides that they are going to, since there's no movie, they're 2 years away from the first Disney film coming out to reinvigorize the franchise, draw people into the aisles. So they come up with something that's actually pretty striking. And that is, we're going to start packaging our figures in black boxes. Now you might be like, okay, well, what's the big deal about that? So black, for the longest time as a color, has been a sort of big no-no in the toy aisle. Everyone always says, don't do black, don't do black. Retailers, toy companies, Hot Wheels is blue, Barbie is pink, Simpsons is yellow, or now it's white. But black it's a color that signifies sort of high-end electronics or, those kind of things. It's not used for toys. It just doesn't communicate the right message, and retailers felt that it would get lost. Black packaging would get lost in that very colorful aisle, and nobody would get drawn to it. So rebranding Star Wars for 2014 as the Black line, the Black Series, again, this wasn't about a scale. This was the entire year's program was going to be based around this concept. That it was and the hook was really the color of the packaging. No one had ever done black before. Yeah, there'd been black borders around some toys, and you could kind of say the vintage Star Wars figures from Kenner were on black base cards, but the photo, really took the pressure off black to carry the color of the line. And black did work in the sense that Star Wars is in space, and, space is dark. It really was a star field more than black. But yeah, you really can't say the vintage characters are on black cards because black is not the primary color. The primary is the photo. So, but versus the Black Series toys were in pure black packaging. And again, that was always not a faux pas, but it was just considered like not something the toy industry should do because it would get lost. So the fact that they were rebranding in black, that was the hook. The packaging color alone was going to be the hook. I can almost imagine the packaging designers going into a senior meeting at Hasbro and them saying, okay, we don't have a movie. We don't have a major feature. We don't have, there's no 3D release going on right now. So how about we put the figures in a black package? That'll make some noise. And that's what it was. It was about making noise, about disrupting. It was not meant to be a long-standing thing. It was meant to be a stopgap measure to create marketing noise around the Star Wars brand in an off year. And if you look at what was released that year in the Black Series branding, it wasn't just figures, right? You had 3 3/4 figures. You had helmets. You had vehicles. And you had 6-inch figures. Everything got this black packaging. It was the hook. It was honestly the hook the way Attack of the Clones would be a hook, or the way, what was the the Comtech chips from Episode 1 was a hook, right? Black Series was basically meant to be the equivalent of a Comtech chip or a flashback card, something that would be just so wow. Star Wars is going black? This is crazy. No one ever does that. They're breaking all the rules, man. And I think the biggest issue was that, well, obviously, Black Series has become the 6-inch line, the way vintage has become the 3 3/4. But yeah, at the time in 2014, they were releasing, vintage 3 3/4 scale figures on Black Series cards and calling them Black Series. So it definitely got very confusing. So if you're asking for, like, say, a Black Series Snow Trooper, are you talking about this or are you talking about this? So yeah, it definitely, I wouldn't say it backfired because obviously Black Series lived on and became the name of the brand, but it would have been better to coalesce behind and say 6-inch is the Black Series from day one. It's interesting that they thought this was going to be a bell cow that would bring everyone into the line if they broke all the packaging rules and came out with all black packaging with minor, blue or orange highlights. But instead, I mean, it definitely for that year, I think caused a little confusion, but even more so once the 6-inch series sort of took over the name Black Series, and you had 3 3/4 on black cards in Black Series boxes, and then back on vintage style cards with photos. That was definitely a very confusing time because you were referring to a scale that was also now becoming the name of the full year's branding or hook. It's a very, very odd choice, and interesting that it has survived because, again, you don't see toys in black packaging. It's considered, a faux pas to do this. So, hey, if we're going to do a faux pas, let's, go big or go home. We'll put it on everything, and we'll see if that can be enough of a draw. Black packaging, the same as a Comtech chip. It breaks Star Wars new to you. So, yeah, definitely a very interesting story about toy branding, packaging branding, color choices that has gone on to become the name of an actual toy line, the 6-inch Star Wars scale from Hasbro. So, yeah, it's an interesting toy story, and that's what this channel is all about. And if you enjoyed videos like this, please do share this with others. It's the best way to support this channel, and I appreciate you being here and sharing your time with us. Don't forget to also check out my books on Amazon. You just look up my last name, Scott Neitlich, or Spector Creative, and you'll find lots of fun history books like Denial Quest on sale now. All right. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.